the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And coming up on the news at noon, Prince George's County Executive Angela Brooks enters the race for the U.S. Senate. What we can expect from her run. Also this hour, utility bills are going up. Stay tuned for specific ways to stretch your dollar.
And it's been a soggy start to our Tuesday as showers continue to work their way across the DMV. Just how much longer will we deal with this rainfall? We'll have a check of your forecast here in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Damon. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall. Well, it's official. Prince George's County Executive Angela Brooks has officially announced her run for the U.S. Senate. Brooks has been the Prince George's County Executive since 2018, and she won re-election last year. But before that, she spent 8 years as the state's attorney for the county. Brooks joins a growing field of candidates, including Montgomery County Council member Will Jawando, political activist Jerome Siegel, and Congressman David Trone. And we had an opportunity to speak with Congressman Trone yesterday. He says that he's been focusing on opioid addiction and criminal justice reform. And here's what he had to say about his run for Senate.
Really pushing addiction, mental health, medical research, education, those things, over the finish line. So it's about working across the aisle, getting stuff done, and moving it forward, and trying to put away your party and focus on accomplishments.
And since we're at your election headquarters, we're going to continue to watch this race closely. For the very latest, just visit us online at dcnewsnow.com. We're taking a look outside at the White House, but could we hear some rumbles of thunder? Meteorologist Damon Matson joins us with the latest check in the forecast. And Damon, what can we expect today? I don't see the sun right now, and I felt raindrops earlier.
Yeah, that's definitely what we're stuck with, if anything, Mark. The clouds and the showers. But at this point, it doesn't look like thunderstorms are going to be much of a concern. But hey, let's check out that radar picture again. We have been dealing with on and off rainfall since before the sun even came up on this Tuesday as a weak disturbance crosses through. You can see how those showers are slowly drifting from northwest to southeast, and we just got done with the batch of rainfall across northern Virginia, D.C., southern Maryland, but a current look at that really showing that most of that steadier shower activity has now moved on. We're catching a dry break right now across D.C., southern Maryland, and northern Virginia, but there is still some rain behind that. We have some steadier showers working through the I-81, I-66 interchange there near Strasburg and Front Royal, and then in Hagerstown, Frederick County as well, and parts of the eastern panhandle. You're continuing to see some steadier rainfall working through, but it won't be much longer that we deal with these rain showers. This disturbance is going to be pushing out of here quickly as we go toward the end of the day. So just continue to keep that rain gear handy through about the 5 to 6 o'clock hour. After that, things will quickly start to dry out. But notice something here, folks. It's going to stay much cooler than yesterday. Temperatures today will barely scrape back into the low 60s. So definitely cool, cloudy, and soggy as we work through this Tuesday. But will we be seeing a change back to sunny, warm conditions later this week? We'll have your full forecast in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. We're learning more this afternoon about a shooting that killed a D.C. firefighter in Charles County, Maryland on Monday. DC News Now's Lex Juarez has the very latest.
Yeah, that's right. And the sheriff's office says that man has been cooperating with their investigation this entire time. At this point, they are not naming exactly who he is. But investigators say that this all stemmed from an argument and assault that was going on between 30-year-old D.C. firefighter Carl Braxton and his girlfriend. Well, the incident escalated outside of their home, and a bystander who was walking their dog stepped in to help the girlfriend. The man says that Braxton threatened him and started to come at him when he pulled out his handgun and shot him. Well, Braxton later died at the hospital. A neighbor tells us that they overheard 6 shots and then went outside and watched as that man and the woman called 911. Well, here's their reaction last night when they were talking to DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg.
I guess he walked up on something that he felt that was severe enough to intervene. And it's sad. It's sad that anybody had to die over that.
Well, the man who pulled the trigger does have a permit to carry his gun. Right now, detectives are working and consulting with the Charles County State's Attorney's Office on whether or not any charges will be filed. In the newsroom, I'm Lex Juarez, DC News Now.
Lex, thank you. We have an update on Monday's shooting outside of a D.C. post office. Davita Johnson has been arrested by U.S. Postal inspectors. She's accused of shooting another woman. Both work for the post office. Investigators say the shooting happened along Brentwood Avenue after 9 a.m. According to officials, one woman shot the other in the employee parking lot. Police say that the victim was conscious and breathing. Postal inspectors said they believe the shooting is domestic. Well, stretching your dollar this hour. If you live in Montgomery or Prince George's County, get ready for your water bill to go up. Montgomery County Council has given preliminary approval to increase WSSCS's rates by 7%. Final vote expected Thursday in a joint session with Prince George's County Council. Well, to help you stretch your dollar before a rate hike, take a look at this. According to the WSSC, hand washing can use up to 2 gallons of water, and a load of dirty laundry can use up to 15 times that. To save water the next time you go to wash your hands, consider turning off the faucet while you scrub. And when washing dishes, scrape them off first instead of a pre-rinsing. And soak your pots and pans instead of in continuously running water. And you can get in the habit of checking for leaks in your appliances. One quick fix may have more water than you realize. Well, here in the district, utility bills are set to become more expensive as we start to turn on the AC. Pepco's raising rates in June for their standard service. The city's Public Service Commission says an average residential customers will pay just more than $12 more a month. And small commercial customers will see their bills rise to about $30 more each month. And then tonight on DC News Now at 5 and 6, Ben Dennis joins us with ways to stretch your dollar as rates continue to rise. Well, happening today, President Biden and the top 4 congressional leaders meet about the debt ceiling. Democrats and Republicans are at odds over a plan to raise the nation's borrowing limit. The GOP-controlled House passed a bill to raise the debt limit and also cut federal spending. And some legal experts are suggesting that President Biden could use the 14th Amendment to raise the debt ceiling without congressional support. That could keep money flowing to Social Security services, military personnel, and federal employees. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warns that this could trigger a constitutional crisis. Washington correspondent Basil John takes a closer look.
It's Congress's constitutional duty to act.
The pressure is on for Congress, as President Joe Biden will meet with House and Senate leaders and share his expectations.
That Speaker McCarthy does the right thing, something that he did 3 times in the last administration.
The White House says Congress needs to be responsible for the money it has already spent.
We're telling them or saying to them, do your job. Pay for something that you've already spent on. That's it.
President Biden presented his plan during his last meeting with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy back in February, but House Republicans went through with the passage of their own plan.
Federal spending is up 40% from pre-COVID levels. I think it's a reasonable thing for us to do.
On CBS's Face the Nation, North Carolina Republican Congressman Patrick McHenry says the president did not expect Republicans to produce a plan of their own.
A clean debt ceiling is now off the table, with Republicans in the House and Senate saying time to negotiate between the Speaker and the President.
The White House is hopeful these talks will lead to a favorable result for the country if Congress understands what's at stake.
They must do their job. That is the president's position.
Well, happening today, people who live in Hyattsville, Maryland, will be voting for their next mayor and several other local officials. DC News Now's Tosin Fakile has a preview.
The polls opened at 7 a.m. and we've seen a steady flow of people coming to the Hyattsville City Municipal Building to cast their vote. And the people in the city are voting for the mayor and council members for 5 wards. Officials tell us about 11,000 people are registered to vote. Those who got a mail-in ballot could return their ballot to 3 secure drop boxes. Same-day registration and in-person voting will be available at this building. Now, before today, the city held a no excuses voter registration tour to help make sure voters got to the poll. And for that tour, here's what they did. On March 11th, they held a voter registration event at a library. On March 12th, a Spanish language voter registration event. On April 29th, a city anniversary fest. And the finale of the tour is tonight, Tuesday, with Election Fest, starting at 5 p.m., involving events that'll also draw in young voters.
In Hyattsville, you can vote at 16, but we're asking 16 or 15 and under the very important question, is a hot dog a sandwich? I don't know. You tell me, is it a sandwich? So it's just a fun, engaging way for us to get the youth of Hyattsville involved and kind of start that culture of voting really young.
If you live in Hyattsville, most likely you at least know your council person and have talked to them, you know, one-on-one multiple times, and probably have met the mayor. And I will always vote in an election, but I think in our local elections especially, you feel that much more connected to what's going on.
And that Election Fest will have free ice cream, food, and other family fun events and music. Now, that Election Fest will take place outside the city building and will include several local businesses. The polls close at 8 o'clock tonight. Elected officials, the elected mayor and elected council members, will take the oath of office on June 5th. We're in Hyattsville. I'm Tosin Fakile for DC News Now.